Hello Helldivers and welcome to another Helldivers 2 News and Leaks video. Today we have a great cosplay from a community member, a very good idea for mechs. Striders are in, baby. Spitz confirms the ArrowHead team is actually quite small. Some Galactic War updates, an absolutely huge armor leak, a new objective leak, and an Illuminate leak. But before we get into that, if you enjoy Helldivers 2 and you want to stay up to date on the latest and greatest about the game, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to my channel. Let's go! First we have Galactic Armory and he made an incredible Helldiver cosplay. This thing looks so realistic, it's actually kind of impressive. The detail on the cosplay is so well made, I'm just thinking,
shut up and take my money!
The democracy is filling my veins and I think it's time for a cup of liberty. And Galactic Armory, if you end up seeing this, do you plan on selling these? Because I would definitely buy one. Next up we have an idea from one of the community members offering the possibility of changing what your mech actually spawns with. Right now the mech spawns with a rocket launcher in the left arm and a minigun in the right arm, but what if you could pick and choose and mix and match between those? We already through leaks know that there will be a mech that spawns with 2 autocannons, which I am super excited to see. But imagine, instead of this, you just get to choose what weapon is in what arm. So you could have 2 miniguns, you could have 2 autocannons, you could have an autocannon and a flamethrower, you could have 2 rocket pods, you could have an autocannon and a rocket pod, or just anything in between, and you just get to mix and match. I gotta admit, the more I think about it, the more I think it's a fire idea. But at the same time, it sounds like it would probably be difficult to implement. ArrowHead definitely need to look into it. And let's move on to the next subject. We have an intelligence brief in the game. The automatons have deployed a new heavy unit, the Factory Strider. Previously deployed in very limited quantities, likely prototypes, this massive abomination is a walking automaton fabricator. It is heavily armed and armored, and should be engaged with coordinated firepower and unhesitating aggression. In my last video, I did outline that there is a new mission type where you fight the Factory Striders, but they are much more common in difficulties 7 through 9, so you don't actually need a separate mission just to fight those. You will see them naturally in game. And I gotta tell you guys, oh my god, are they just beefy! And their spawn rate is literally insane. We have this video from Dote1372 who encountered 3 Factory Striders one after the other, just dropping in on him. That's pure freaking hell. I did drop on a Helldive level difficulty and I encountered 3 as well, just they were much more spread out. And this just gives you a much better reason to destroy those radar towers, because if the Eye of Sauron catches you, oh my god, get ready for some smoke. I do have one piece of advice that would be very helpful to most people, and that is that the Factory Striders are very weak in their undercarriage from where they spawn those Devastators. So if someone manages to pull aggro, you just go underneath that sucker and you blow your load. And I'm not gonna lie guys, fighting these things makes your dingaling grow at least 5 times its normal size. And we also have a Reddit post about it. It's hilarious how because they made Factory Striders more common, everyone reserves a big boom just for that. I joined 4 difficulty 8 pubs, in all 4 we had multi-drop Factory Striders at some point that lasted all of 10 seconds. Literally soon as we saw one, anywhere from 6 to 8 stratagems would follow. I'm talking 380, lasers, 500 kg, rail cannon, walking barrage, clusters, ego airstrikes, the works. These were all pubs, but everyone was on the same wavelength. Drop big boom boom on big robot. Imagine the perspective of the Striders, giant mechanical menace, peak bot engineering, gets dropped with 2 of the same. Within 5 seconds of landing, 6 orbs of red beams aimed at the sky fall at your feet.
I'm in danger!
I gotta admit, this was an absolutely hilarious post, but it was also very much true. And I'm very interested, how have your encounters with Striders gone, my friends? Tell me about it in the comments. Now we also have some confirmation from Spitzer about the size of the ArrowHead team. ArrowHead still has a very small team compared to the success of the game, and while we have a dedicated QA, the people fixing bugs with weapons and armor, for example, are the same people in charge of making new weapons and armor. It is important to us to maintain the cadence that we promised, 1 Warbond per month, but equally equally important to everyone to fix the glaring bugs and technical issues. There's just only so much time in a work week. And I gotta be honest with you guys, to me this is a little bit surprising, but now things start to make a whole lot of sense. If this is actually the case, then ArrowHead should start hiring a whole bunch of new people and training them to use their engine and all of that jazz. And let's be blunt here, the game is massively successful. There have been a lot of moments where there's been at least a player base of 320,000 people actively in-game, which if you think about it is quite freaking insane. ArrowHead need to do something about this because the game is not dying, it's actually thriving very well currently. It's still one of the most purchased games on Steam, but that's not going to hold out for much longer, so they need to make some difficult decisions really soon. And while I was recording this, a new major order came in. Thanks to the valiant and unceasing defense of the Helldivers, a robust defensive line has been established. We now have the opportunity to refuel our war effort. The defensive effort depleted our E710 reserves, and in order to allow for a counter-offensive, the Helldivers are ordered to manually produce terminate corpses for the conversion into E710, which is our fuel for our spaceships, or if you turn E710 around, it's oil. And the major order itself is actually quite simple. We just need to destroy, kill, and annihilate 2 billion, yes that's billion terminates. We have about 6 days to achieve this, which is the first time we've ever had a major order like this, and actually I'm kind of hyped for it. I'm sick of fighting the bots, I'm not gonna lie. Not only this, but we also have a defensive campaign, which as you might know is the best chance for you to farm some samples. You can find that on the planet Estanu, so make sure you go for it. We are about to get into leaked territory, so if you don't want to have the game spoiled for yourself, this is your spoiler warning. But before you leave, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Good? We good, let's go. Starting off with the armor sets, we have this first one which looks like it's pulled directly out of Star Wars. It looks incredible, it's a light armor with the default scout passive. I am 100% rocking this on sample farms. Next we have another very Star Warsy looking armor that comes with the engineering kit passive. Honestly, this one also looks incredible and I cannot wait to get it in the game. It's pretty beefy and pretty freaking cool. Next we have a very World War II inspired armor that makes you look like one of those guys that would burn everything down to the ground. Interestingly enough, it actually doesn't seem to have a passive at the moment. It's a light armor set and that's something, but if it stays without a passive, probably no one will touch it, even though it looks pretty freaking incredible. I do like the helmet and that will go with a lot of different stuff, so at least the helmet will be very much usable. It's honestly kind of a little bit of a shame, so I really pray it gets an actual armor passive. Next up we have an armor set which seems to be from the next Warbond since it has this primordial hunter-predator look. It's a medium style armor, but it has the scout passive, which is kind of interesting. It's already been leaked previously, but now we get to see it in full detail. And I do have to say, I would absolutely rock this when I want to get into my Predator vibes. Next up we have another medium armor that comes with the engineering kit passive, and again it seems to be from this primordial Warbond set. It doesn't look as cool as the previous one, but the engineering kit passive, while not one of my favorites, is still quite useful depending on which grenade you use, so I guess it will see some play. Alright, and now we are getting into the juicy stuff. A couple videos back I shared 2 armor sets that have exposed skin, and those were simply incredible. This is one of them, and sadly it doesn't have any armor passive, which is very interesting and I hope it does get changed. But I mean, come on, look at this. It even paints your arms to have a camo on them. Oh my god, this is so ridiculously awesome. And the bullet belt across the chest just finishes this whole look. Imagine rolling on Malevelon Creek with this armor set. Holy. Next up we have another armor set that has reveal skin, but this one is a heavy set. Again with no passive, which I am not a fan of and I hope it does get changed. As you can see, this one doesn't have camo on the arms, instead it has a very big tattoo on the left arm. It just looks so cool. The arms are beefy, it's manly as all heck. So obviously with these armor sets, what your arms look like will depend on which armor you're picking up. But once again, at least visually, this is glorious and I cannot wait to have it in game. It looks even better with the helmet that has a Beretta on, just makes you look like Rambo. That's why I dubbed it the Rambo armor in my previous video where I showed some screenshots of it. After that we get to the heavyset armor that has the atomic logo logo, and it has the Fortified passive. It looks really dope, again a little bit stormtroopery, so yeah, I'm excited to get this. Honestly, Fortified is probably my favorite passive, at least when you play against bots, because of the 50% explosive resistance, and this will come very much in handy. After that, we have another heavy set armor with 150 armor rating, which I would like to dub right here, right now, the streetwear armor. It does have camo, but the camo looks more like graffiti than anything else. It comes with the Fortified passive, and I don't care if it's in the Superstore, I don't care if it's in the Warbond, I will just pick it up, regardless of where it is and how much resources it will take of me. Next up, we have the newest edition of the Big Chungus armor, which in one of my previous videos I dubbed the Ninja Turtle. Why? Well, for obvious reasons. I am loving the grenades that are on the front chesticles part of the armor, and I am loving the belt buckle, it just looks spectacular. You're literally big and huge and chunky with it, and it's just so funny and it's so fun. And let's be honest, it will also be pretty useful as well. And to close this all off, we actually have another very stormtrooper-ish looking armor. I feel like there's a theme here, but it also comes with the extra padding passive, and it's really big and chunky. Not as chunky as the Big Chungus, but this one also comes with 200 armor rating, which, as you might know, is going to be really useful. I feel like this game is going to turn me into a broke person, because I would buy this one as well. I mean, just look at it, it looks so dope. And that's about it for the armors, and to close this video all off, we have a couple of new entries from our good friend Iron Sights, starting off with the Hive Buster, which seems to be a new objective. From what we can see, it drops from a box, so most likely it will be a stratagem similar to the Hell Bomb. I would expect that it's something that we're going to get very soon, considering how the story is playing out and what will happen next. And to close this video off, finally from Iron Sights again, who's pretty much the GOAT as it comes to these 3D models and textures and whatnot, we have the Illuminate Warp Gate, which looks stunning. I've said it before and I'll say it again, it does remind me of that old show Stargate if you've ever watched it. And considering that now we're at the point where we're fighting bugs again, most likely after this we'll go to Cyberstan, and after that, somewhere in that time frame, we'll get the Illuminate finally in game. I'm so hyped, guys, and I'm sure you are as well. But that's about the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to my channel for even more Helldivers 2 content, and I'll see you in the next one.